All right, everyone, please be seated. And state, call your next witness.
State calls Ruby Zamaripa.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, if you'll lower your hand, make sure you keep your voice up so that members of the jury and the court reporter can hear.
Okay,
All right, and if you'll state your name for the record.
Ruby Zamaripa.
All right, state.
Thank you. Can you please spell your last name for the court reporter?
Yes, Zamarria.
And Ms. Zamaripa, how are you employed?
I am the custodian of records and paralegal for the San Antonio Police Department Communications Unit.
And does that include being a custodian of record for 911 calls made?
Yes, it is. I maintain a recording system for all 911 calls, non-emergency calls, police radio transmissions, and text to 911.
And that's part of your normal duties?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 6.
Mhm.
Do you recognize what this is?
Yes, I do.
And what is this?
It is a disc of the 911 recordings that were made for this case.
And how many calls are on this disc?
There are 2.
Okay, and how do you recognize that this is?
I did initial it. I signed it with my name and the date.
After listening to it?
Yes, I did.
And have you listened to this recording?
Yes, I have.
Were these recordings prepared on a device capable of making an accurate recording?
Yes, they were.
How are they saved when you save these 911 calls?
Through an automated recording system.
And when they're saved, is it an automated thing or do you have to manually save them?
They're automatically saved, and then we have to save them because then they will get purged if we don't upload them.
Okay, so at some point somebody saved the system.
Yes, we do. Sorry.
And is this recording an accurate representation of the recording as it was made?
Yes, it is.
And has it been altered in any way?
No, it has not.
Your Honor, at this time, we would offer State's Exhibit number 6 into evidence.
Defense.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 6 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Granted.
Just a moment, it's trying to take its time to boot. Judge.
No problem.
And if this doesn't work, we'll switch to a laptop, Judge. Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes. Play it from my computer, and neither the state or the defense have any objections to me trying to play it from my computer. All right, into parties, it's the vote.
Yes, Judge.
This, according to what's coming up on my computer screen, even though this is state's number 6, there are actually 2 911. Is that correct, both sides?
Yes, that's what the
That's correct,
testimony
Your
was.
Address. What's the address?
Hey, y'all not leaving. Y'all
What's the
not
address?
leaving.
Hello, I need the address of your. I need the address.
Shut the fuck up. I need him here.
What's the address? I don't know.
Hey.
San Antonio 911. This is Bethany. Fire or
Somebody stabbed one of my friends. It was
What's the address? What's the address?
Hey, y'all not leaving. Y'all
What's the
not
address?
leaving.
Hello.
DKW 0938.
Hold on. DKW.
Huh?
09.
DKW 0938.
Because it's not showing sound from what I'm playing. I'm gonna try to go to the second one. Okay,
Yeah, they both have sound. We just listen to them.
all right, let me see.
May I come around and look at the volume?
Sure,
Okay.
just 1 second.
1717 Leo. Okay. What's going on there, ma'am?
Somebody just got stabbed and they.
San Antonio 911. This is B. Do you need police, fire, EMS? Hello, San
Police and EMS.
Okay, to what address or intersection?
1717 Leo.
1717 Leo. Okay. What's going on there, ma'am?
Somebody just got stabbed and they left. We have their license plate. Just sent somebody.
Okay.
He got stabbed.
Okay. Is it a male or female that got stabbed?
It's a male.
Okay. Give me a second.
Oh my God!
Ma'am, what's going on? Ma'am, what's going on?
He got stabbed. He fainted. He got stabbed.
Okay, stay on the line. Let me transfer you to EMS. Okay, stay on the line.
Oh my God. Please hurry.
San Antonio Fire and EMS. What's the address to your emergency?
1717 Leal.
1717 Leal. My name is Zach. What's your name?
Christine, please hurry. Somebody got stabbed and he's dying.
Okay, we're on
Oh
the
my
way. Is the person that stabbed him still there?
No, he left. Please hurry.
Okay.
I think he's dying.
Get a towel. I need you to hold the blood inside his body. Do you understand?
They're doing it.
Okay, we're on the way.
Yes,
Lights and
Baba,
sirens now.
hurry!
30. Okay. He's inside the house, outside the house.
He left. He's outside. Please hurry. Get Baba out of there.
All right, we're on the way. Keep the blood inside his body. We're on the way now.
Come on. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, ma'am? Hello? Hello?
All right, and then now I'll play the other one. We'll see if it works this time.
Somebody stabbed one of my friends.
What's the address? What's the address?
Hey, y'all not leaving. Y'all
What's the
not. Hey.
San Antonio 911, this is Stephanie. Fire or
Somebody stabbed one of my friends.
What's the address? What's the address?
Hey, y'all not leaving. Y'all
What's the
not
address?
leaving.
Hello, I need the address.
Shut the fuck up. I need him here.
What's the address? I don't know where you're at.
It's 1717 Liao. He's leaving with his friends.
Okay, hold on.
License plate is DKW 0938.
Hold on, DKW 09.
DKW 0938. I got the fucking plates. Come on, please hurry.
Hold on.
They're leaving, and the guy that stabbed him was trying to hit. He was gonna hit
Okay,
me.
hold on. I'm gonna transfer. Hold on. I'm gonna transfer you to EMS. Down the line. Hold on.
San Antonio Fire and EMS, what's the address or location?
Yes, guys, can you please come? They stabbed my friend. Please.
It's 1717 Liao.
Oh my God, he's right now. Oh my God, get up. Get up.
What's going on there, man?
They stabbed him. I need an ambulance now. He's fainting.
Okay. Put pressure with something clean until we get there. Okay. The police need to show up first before we go in. Once they see and tell us that it's safe, we're gonna go check him out. But in the meantime, put pressure with something clean. How old is he?
He's 30.
He's 30? 30?
Yes, please hurry.
Okay. Is he awake?
No, he's fucking closing his eyes. Isaac, please wake up. Isaac, please wake up.
Okay. Is he
Wake up,
breathing?
please. I don't know. Isaac, please.
Okay. Like I said, once the police get there and tell us it's safe to check him out, we're going to treat him and get him to the hospital.
Oh my God.
Are y'all gonna be inside or outside?
Outside.
Y'all inside or outside?
We're outside.
Okay, what about the person who stabbed him? Is he still there?
He left. I gave the driver's license. He took off.
Okay, continue to hold pressure until we get there. Like I said, once
Don't come over here, Christine.
the police get there and tell us it's safe, we're gonna go and treat him. Help's on the way. If he stops breathing, we're gonna have to start doing chest compressions. Okay, is he breathing right now? Can you?
The cops are here.
Okay.
His brother and the boyfriend.
All right, I'll let you talk to the police officers. We're on the way.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Hey.
San Antonio 911, this is Stephanie. Fire or
Somebody.
Pass the witness.
I have no questions of the witness.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse from the state, Your Honor.
Excuse, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And state?
Yes, sir. Before our next witness, can we approach?
Yes.
give you all a 10-minute break. We're going to make sure that all of the equipment is working. Remember my previous instructions. You're not to start deliberating internally with yourself or with each other. You're not allowed to discuss anything about this case. If you see anything, you're to ignore it and not pay any attention to it. You're not allowed to do any research. Everything that you need to know about this case is to come from. All right. And so I'll have you all back here by 2. All right, everyone, please rise. And you can start audio.
They want me to test the audio real quick, even though we're not
Sure.
gonna use it for this, but.
No,
just
go ahead.
In the future. Okay, cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Switch the screen.
Sorry, Judge, I didn't know it would take that long.
Oh, no, it happens. I mean, tech is tech. What are we gonna do?
Our next.
Yes. Yes, if you'll have a seat there. You're welcome. We're ready.
All rise for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. And state if you'll call your next witness.
State would call Officer Ariano.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up for members of the jury and the court reporter. And if you'll state your name for the record.
Angel Ariano.
All right, state.
Good afternoon, officer. Can you please spell your name for the court reporter, your last name?
It's gonna be Arellano
How are you currently employed?
with the San Antonio Police Department,
How long have you been with San Antonio Police Department?
going on 4 years now.
When did you get certified then as a police officer for SAPD?
August 28 of 2020,
What are your current duties?
just a patrolman.
What do you guys do as patrolmen?
Respond to calls of service mainly,
Do you deal with all types of cases or any particular, like a specified kind?
all types.
Were you on duty back on October 3rd, 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall what shift you were working at back then?
B shift,
And what time does B shift cover?
1:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
And were you dispatched to an incident for involving a stabbing or a cutting?
Yes, ma'am.
And was that here in San Antonio, Texas?
Correct.
Do you recall about what time you were dispatched out there?
Midday, maybe around 2 or 3 o'clock.
Would you have prepared a report as part of your duties?
I'm sorry.
Would you have prepared a report on this case as part of your duties?
Yes, ma'am.
Would looking at that help refresh your memory?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit number 8. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And is this the report that you prepared?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what you can do is you can refer back to this to refresh your memory, just don't read directly from it, okay?
Okay.
So you want to refresh your memory about what time were you sent out there?
Around 8:50.
And is this back in October 2021?
Yes.
And when you were dispatched, were you wearing a body worn?
Yes.
Was that body worn camera on and functioning?
Yes, ma'am.
Before we get further into that, when you got there, what was going on when you arrived at the scene?
When I first got there, I remember a adult female walking from the backyard of her house. I asked her where everything took place. And she showed me the way to the backyard where the victim was laying on a playground.
What was the emotional state when you guys got there?
Um, it was pretty hectic. A lot of emotions were running high. And yeah, I mean, just like that.
Were you first on the scene?
Yes.
Had EMS gotten there yet?
No.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 7A. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
And what is on this disc?
My initials and date.
Okay, and does it contain your body worn camera on there?
Yes.
Okay, and so you reviewed it?
Yes.
And you said that you've watched this recording, correct?
Correct.
And was this recording prepared on a device capable of making such recording, like your body worn camera?
Correct.
And were you competent and knowledgeable in operating your body worn camera?
Yes.
And is this recording, besides the there being no sound on this one, is it an accurate copy or an accurate representation of the events as when you first arrived on the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it, other than being the sound muted, has the recording been altered in any manner?
No, ma'am.
And can you identify yourself and other people in this video?
Yes.
And was this video made on October 3rd, 2021?
Yes.
At this time, Your Honor, we would offer State's Exhibit 7A into evidence.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit 7A is admitted into evidence.
Permission to publish.
Granted.
So as this starts to play, you can notice that this is starting in your car. Is that when you're recording body worn camera start?
Yes.
When do you activate your body worn camera?
Usually upon being dispatched.
At this point, you're on your way to the scene, correct?
Correct.
I'll go ahead and pause it for a second. Is there a timestamp in the upper right-hand corner of the video?
Oh, yes.
So that'd be about 6:50.
Yes.
So is that the victim you see on the green slide?
Yes.
Is he able to speak at all at this point?
No, ma'am.
And the woman on the video, what is she currently doing?
Just putting pressure on his wound.
Why didn't you kind of step in, and start doing that? Or is there a reason you had her keep holding the pressure?
Since she already had the pressure, I didn't want to have her release that pressure and possibly more blood come out. So she just wanted her to keep her hand on it.
So at this point, are you guys waiting for EMS to arrive?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you guys had to do before EMS could make the scene?
Make sure the scene was secure for them, make sure there was, I guess, nothing else was taking place for other than for them to come pick him up.
Was the alleged assailant present at the scene?
No, ma'am.
Did you notice kids present while this was going on?
Yes.
How many kids did you see?
One or two.
As you were sitting here talking to everybody and getting their information, what was everybody's emotional state?
Mm, they were pretty upset.
Did anybody seem intoxicated that you could tell?
No.
Do you know who the person is that's holding and applying the oppression or the pressure to the victim?
I do not.
And then you can see in the background that finally EMS has arrived, correct?
Yes.
Did it take them some time to make their way over to the victim, if you remember?
From when they parked,
Arrived.
I believe they were just getting everything out, so it'd take them just a little bit.
At this point, you can see the victims opening their mouth a lot. Were they talking or are they making noise at that point?
At that point, he was just making some noises.
What kind of noises was he making?
I want to say it sounded like gas for air.
After they got him off the scene, what else did you have to do with this case? Any other duties you had to perform?
Yes, provide scene security, so that it can get processed by our crime scene technicians or, and preserve any kind of evidence that might have been there.
But the investigation and stuff like that, that gets handed off to someone else?
Yes.
Ask the witness.
Right, defense?
Good afternoon, Officer Arellano. So the extent of your investigation or your role in this case was what we just saw?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, pass the witness.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness subject for recall?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down. State, call your next witness.
State calls, Brenda O'Neill.
If you can raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, if you'll make sure to keep your voice up for members of the jury and the court reporter, if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Brenda Oliva.
State.
Yes, Judge. Good morning, afternoon, Miss Oliva. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Where do you work?
I work for the San Antonio Police Department, in the crime scene unit.
And what do you do in the crime scene unit?
I collect evidence, which includes, like photography, physical evidence, and latent prints, sketching.
How long have you been with San Antonio Police Department in that capacity?
16 years.
16 years?
Yeah, 16.
And what training did you have or did you receive to do the job that you do?
Well, you have to have a bachelor's degree, which I have. Once you get hired, you take about 360 hours of classroom training. And then you have a month on with a field training officer. So you do the job with them alongside you.
Thank you. On October 3rd of 2021, had you been doing that job, if my math is right, about 14 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember responding to the scene of a crime at 1717 Leal on October 3rd of 2021?
Yes.
Did you write a report as a part of your interaction on that case number or on that address? Excuse me.
I did.
Would it help your testimony here today to have that with you as you testify?
Yes, please.
May I approach your honor?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Oliva, I'm gonna hand you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 8. Use it to refresh your memory if you need to, but please don't read directly from it, okay? Excuse me. It's going to be State's Exhibit number 9. Ms. Oliva, do you recall the San Antonio Police Department number assigned to the case that you reported to at 1717 Leal?
Are you referring to the case number?
Yes.
Not offhand, no.
Would it be on your report?
Yes.
Would you like to refresh your recollection with your report, please? Do you remember the case number now?
Yes.
And what is that case number?
It's 2119, 6680.
And why did you respond to 1717 Leal that day?
I got dispatched because there was a stabbing.
When you arrived at the scene, were you there alone or were there other people there?
No, I met a fellow detective there who was already on scene processing.
And who did you meet at scene?
UEDI Covington.
What is a UEDI?
Sorry.
It's okay.
He's an evidence detective.
And did you guys process the scene together?
Yes, we did.
When you arrived at the scene, what did you do first?
Sorry.
Take your time if you need to. I apologize.
I made contact with Detective Covington. He kind of informed me what was going on at the scene when I got there. He had already taken photographs of the scene, so he talked me through where some evidence was located, and we just coordinated from there on what I would be doing.
Did you mark the evidence locations with detective, or is it Detective Covington? Be that the correct way to refer to him?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And why is it important to get from Detective Covington what happened at the scene?
Well, because when I get there, I'm not sure what's going on until I talk to someone on scene.
Does that inform your decisions of what evidence might be important or relevant?
Depending on the case, yes.
And you marked evidence with Detective Covington. What else did you do with the scene?
Basically just conducted a search for anything that might be important to the case. Once we found out, maybe the condition of the victim, that's when we brought, more equipment in.
As a part of your duties, do you make sketches or diagrams?
Yes.
Why do you make sketches or diagrams?
It's just an illustration of the scene. It helps to, like pinpoint the scene, and where evidence was located.
Did you do that here?
I did.
May I approach your honor?
Yes.
Okay, so Leva, I'm gonna hand you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 10. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what is that?
It's a copy of my sketch.
And I'm also going to hand you what I'm marking as State's Exhibit number 11. What is State's Exhibit number 11?
It's just a layout of the front yard, but also a copy of my sketch.
And State's Exhibits number 10 and 11, were those made by you?
Yes.
Are they to scale?
No, ma'am.
Are there numerical markings on those sketches?
Yes.
And what are those numerical markings? What are they for?
So the numeric ones will be, the items of evidence. The letters will be, points of reference.
And why do you put those on your sketch?
The points of reference are used, for measurements.
And your two sketches there, in State's Exhibit 10 and 11, are they fair and accurate depictions of the scene at that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, State moves to admit State's Exhibit 10 and 11.
May I see them?
Yes.
No objection.
All right, States Exhibit 10 and 11 are admitted without objection.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, Detective, did you take photographs?
No, I did not.
Okay, but you observed the scene, correct?
I did, yes.
I want to talk about the items of evidence that you collected at the scene. Let's start with item E1. What is item E1?
It was a knife.
And where was that found?
It was found at the bottom of a slide.
Okay.
In the backyard.
Can I move about the well, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, with regard to item E1, is that going to be apparent here in State's Exhibit number 10?
Yes, it's the circle one at the bottom.
And was that photographed?
Yes.
What about item E2?
That's gonna be a black T-shirt that was found.
And where was that found?
It was found on the slide.
And I want to go back to E1. Were there any swabbings taken from item E E1?
Yes, we'll take that item of evidence back to the office and then we'll do more processing, which in this case, we swabbed for apparent DNA.
Okay. And with the swabbing taken from item E1, the knife, what is that labeled as?
In my report, it'll be E1A.
Now, moving on to item E3, what is E3?
It was a blood.
It was blood.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you do the same process there where you take a swabbing of the apparent blood, or is it something different?
No, the swab will be taken directly from the ground at the scene.
Okay. And tell me about item E4.
That was blood as well.
What about E5?
More blood.
Okay. Now let's move on to State's Exhibit number 11 and item E6. What is item E6?
That was blood located in the front of the house on the sidewalk.
Okay. And so for each of those findings of apparent blood, you took a swabbing for, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
We've been talking about a sketch. Your Honor, may I approach the witness yet again?
Yes.
Okay,
And to both counsels, you have the court's permission to move about the courtroom for your witnesses and any items in defense. If there's something that you need to see that the state is showing the witness, you may move about without permission.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor. So we've been talking a lot about these diagrams, items, State's Exhibit 10 and 11. So with regard to State's Exhibit 11, I have a photograph. It's State's Exhibit 12. What is State's Exhibit 12?
That's a picture of the front of the house.
Is it a fair and accurate depiction of the house as it looked that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, State would move to admit State's Exhibit number 12.
No objection.
State's Exhibit number 12 is admitted without objection.
Okay. Now I'm going to hand you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 13 through 23. Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes. These are items of evidence that were collected.
Okay. Are they a fair and accurate depiction of the items that you collected that day and the scene that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, State would move to admit State's Exhibit 13 through 23.
Can we approach Judge?
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, for the record, the exhibits that are being
admitted will be States Exhibit 13 through 19 and 21 through 23. All right, States, you may proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, this may be a little difficult. We'll try to be kind to the jury. Okay, we've talked about items on your diagram as E1 and E2. So I'm going to show you States Exhibit 13. Does States Exhibit 13 depict those two items?
Yes.
Okay. And with regard to States Exhibit number 14, what does that depict?
Number 14?
States Exhibit number 14 here.
Oh, evidence item number 1.
Okay, and that's just a close-up, zoomed-in shot, so you can see item 1 more clearly.
Yes.
Is that also a closer shot of what is labeled E2 in States Exhibit number 15?
Yes.
All right, this may be a little difficult for the jury to see. I'm showing you States Exhibit number 16, which in your report is labeled as E3, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is this the area that you took a swabbing from?
Yes, it was.
Now I'm showing you States Exhibit number 17, which is depicting E4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And E4 is found over here in the bottom right corner of your diagram in States Exhibit 10, right?
Yes.
What can you tell me about States Exhibit number 18?
It was labeled as number 5, and it's also blood, and it was in the driveway.
Okay. Can you please point to where item 5 is labeled or E5 is labeled on your diagram?
It's down here.
And I'm showing States Exhibit number 19. Is that the same swabbing from a different angle?
Yes.
Now I'm showing you States Exhibit numbers 21, 22, and 23. And what area does that depict?
It's gonna be here on the sidewalk, and labels at number 6.
Number 6, it's going to be this the diagram from the front yard, otherwise known as States Exhibit number 11. Yes. Okay. And with each of those items of evidence that we just talked about, are you the person that collected them?
Yes.
Okay. What happens after you collect? What happened after you collected those items of evidence?
They were secured in my vehicle and taken back to the office where they were processed, and from there they're put in the property room, the SAP property room.
Is the property room a secure facility?
It is.
Does just any regular person have access to that room?
No, you have to have an ID to get in.
Do you have access to that room?
I do.
Did you bring items E1 through 6, as marked in your report, here with you today?
I did.
Okay. And where did you pick those items up from?
It's from our main property room on Academic.
And that's the same property room that they were checked in at?
No, because it was after hours, we have a property room located next door to our office, and the items are stored there.
Okay. Did you bring item 6?
Yes.
Did you bring item E5 here with you today?
Yes.
Did you bring item E4 here with you today?
Yes.
What about item E3?
Yes.
And item E1A?
Yes.
And item E1?
Yes.
How do you know that the items you brought here today are the same items that you collected at the scene?
They're labeled with my initials and badge number.
Is there anything else that they're labeled with?
A barcode, which contains the date and case number.
Can you please bring out those items I listed, just
Do you want me to take them out?
now? Can you please bring out item E6? Okay, item E6, I'm labeling as States Exhibit number 24. Can you please bring out item E5? E5, I'm labeling as States Exhibit number 26. Great. Can you please bring out item E4? Item E4, I am labeling as States Exhibit number 26. May I please see item number E3? E3, I am labeling as States Exhibit number 27. May I please see item number E2, actually? E2, I am labeling as States Exhibit number 28. May I please see item E1A? E1A, I am labeling as States Exhibit number 29. And item E1, please. I am labeling as States Exhibit 30. Okay. At this time, Your Honor, state offers States exhibits number 24 through 30 into evidence.
No objection. And Anna, just to be clear, did you offer E2 or no?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thanks.
All right, then States Exhibits 24 through 30 are admitted without objection.
Ms. Oliva, would you please open States Exhibit number 30, which is, for your reference, what is marked as E1 in your report. And I have scissors here with me. And what is inside States Exhibit 1? Or excuse me, what is inside States Exhibit 30?
That'll be E1, the 9th.
Okay. And I see that it appears to be an additional packaging. Was that packaged by you?
Yes.
Why was it packaged by you in a smaller container?
Because it's a sharp object. It's just for safety reasons.
Okay, would you please open that? May I publish to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm pulling out the contents of what has been labeled as State's Exhibit number 30. This is the knife you collected from the scene, is that correct?
Yes.
What can you tell me about this knife?
It has a 3.5-inch blade. And at the time that it was collected, it had blood on it.
Right. And is the blade, when you collected it, was the blade extended?
It was halfway, maybe not even halfway, just a bit out.
If I hold this down, will the blade extend if I push forward?
It should, yes.
And I may not have heard you. Did you say about how long the blade of the knife was?
If I remember correctly, it was 3.5 inches.
Do you know how to secure the blade? Thank you very much.
Excuse me, just get.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna place this right there. Thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
Thank you, Judge. So is it Officer Oveda?
It's CSI
Oliva.
Oliva.
You said that you were dispatched, but you did not take any of the photographs, but you were there with an accompanying officer who was taking photographs?
He was dispatched first. So when I got there, he had already started photographing.
Okay, and then you made notations in your report with regard to some of the things that you yourself observed at the time, correct?
Yes.
And what were the things that you noted that you observed? And do you still have a copy of your report there if you need to refresh the information?
No, as far as what I saw when I got to the scene.
Just on, yeah, what do you remember and what did you notate in when you wrote your report? What did you note that?
When I got there, Detective Covington walked me to the back of the yard where the incident had reportedly occurred. It looks like there was a party. There was numerous beer cans.
When you say numerous, like what's numerous to my uncle may not be numerous to my brother. Yeah. What's numerous to you?
Maybe more than 5.
So it looked like there had been a party with drinking.
Yes.
Okay. And when you say beer cans, were they like in one place or did it look like several people had been having beers?
The majority were, I believe, on a patio table in the back.
Very close to that slide?
Yes.
If you were standing by that slide, it would have been pretty easy to see those beer cans from where the slide was?
Yes.
And then you said that there was a black T-shirt and that's in your report, you noted that as your E2?
Yes.
And so when you collected that, the T-shirt, at the time that you're collecting things, you're just there to collect evidence. You don't know what belongs to who or what might be significant later or what might not be, correct?
Well, it was in the immediate area of the crime scene. So, and it was close to other items that were collected.
Right. I guess I didn't ask my question, that's my bad for not making my question clear. You would agree with me that your job as a CSI is to collect potential evidence, right?
Yes.
And so potential evidence could be anything that you think at the time might be significant. And sometimes maybe later on, it might be or it won't be, but you at the time, you're collecting anything that you think may be significant from an evidentiary standpoint, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you collected all of these items, these were the items when you were on scene that you thought were significant potentially as evidence in a case.
Yes.
Okay. And so when you looked at, you said that there was a knife and it was partially open. At the point when you were collecting items and somebody else was photographing items, had the person who had been stabbed, had he already been transported?
Yes, once, when I got there, he was already gone.
Okay, so you didn't have any, or, well, I guess I'll ask you, did you have any indication from anyone else there at the scene where he had been positioned or any sort of play-by-play of what had allegedly gone on?
At the time, they were still interviewing people, so it was not known where exactly he was. So could have been anywhere in that backyard.
Okay, so from your perspective, you didn't have any idea of where anybody's body had been, whether laying down, standing, you didn't know?
I did not.
Okay. And so when you collected the black T-shirt, you didn't know whose T-shirt that was. It just was a bloody T-shirt that you collected.
Yes.
And same with the knife.
Same with the knife, yes.
And with so there was an E1 that's the knife, and then there was an E1A that was a swab from what you said looked like blood on the blade of the knife, right?
Right.
Okay. Did you swab or recall if there was any blood on the actual handle of the knife?
I don't remember without looking at the photographs if there was or not.
That you didn't, you do know that you did not swab the handle for
Well, the whole
blood?
thing is swabbed.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
swab
the
handle?
blade and the handle is swabbed.
Don't talk over each other.
Sorry. So you swabbed, so E1 is the knife, and then is the E1A, I just want to make sure, is the E1A a swab of the entire knife or just the blade of the knife?
The whole thing.
And you found, you said your number 3 on your diagram, that was, is that what you marked as an E? Is that your E3? The number 3 on your diagram?
Yes.
We have lots of numbers floating around. I just want to be sure we know what's what. And then the number 4 on your diagram, is that what is referred to as your E4?
Yes, the numbers that are circled are the items of evidence.
Okay. And that was also another swab that you looked,
Another, yes.
appeared to be blood at the
Yes.
time. And E5 was a blood swab. And then you said that there was also on the sidewalk in the front of the house, that was where you had your E6.
Yes.
And at the time, you didn't have any way to know who any of this blood belonged to, correct?
Well, at the time I was advised, that it belonged to the victim. Because at that point, that was the only person that was injured.
That you were told was injured?
I was told, and again, nobody was there when I got there, so I could not see for myself if it was just the victim. So I'm going based on what was being told to the officers.
And so, you were not ever told that another person had been injured as well?
I was not told that.
Okay. And I mean, you would agree with me, you've been doing this a long time. I heard you testify that you've been at it for quite a while. You would agree with me that, a lot of times police officers get information that covers a full spectrum from a lie to absolute truth, but there can be all kinds of shades of gray in between those two things. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, at this particular scene, that's why so many items of,
I'm not asking you about this scene. I'm just
Okay.
asking you a general question in your experience. When people give information about an event, people can have reasons why they might not tell the truth, right?
I wouldn't know. I don't interview people. So again, I go based off what the officer tells me when I get there.
Okay. That in your experience so you said that you've had some peace officer training?
No, I'm a civilian.
Okay, so have you had any classes with regard to anything other than just collecting physical evidence?
No,
Okay.
it's just evidence.
Okay, so essentially then your job is to take whatever somebody tells you, not question it or evaluate it, but use that and then go and pick up evidence.
Well, it's not just what someone tells me. It's something that we agree or that looks like it might be involved.
Okay, so I guess then to clarify, with regard to these items of evidence that you collected, this E1 through E6, were those decisions that you made, or was somebody pointing out to you, hey, grab that, get this is over here, be sure to get that?
Because there was so much blood everywhere, just in different parts of the yard and the front yard, there was some collected from each area.
Well, and so with regard to the photographs that you were looking at earlier, where are you saying that there were, because I see blood spots.
Yes.
And so where were the other significant, you say blood everywhere?
I don't mean blood everywhere, but there was blood in just different parts of the yard. And then there was blood in the driveway and then blood in the front yard. So that blood wasn't all in one area. It was spread out from the backyard to the front yard.
Okay. And again, you were not aware of where any of the people involved had actually been in the yard?
No, not at that time, no.
Okay. And with regard to scenes, does SAPD have any sorts of protocols with regard to how a scene is secured? Are you aware of how that works?
I mean, usually when we get there, I guess it depends on the kind of scene it is. It's marked off with tape, just depending on how big or from what they're told, how big the crime scene is.
And is the common practice to try to keep as many people from tromping through the crime scene as possible?
I mean, it's not always the case, but I mean, we try, yes.
Okay, and is that something that is kind of common knowledge that everybody knows, like, hey, don't have a bunch of people walking back and forth through the crime scene?
I mean, like I said, we try, but you know, EMS gets there and, you know, all sorts of, you know, you have people that are there at the party. So, I mean, that can't be controlled all the time.
Right. So in a perfect world, we would love it if it was everybody clears out as soon as something happens,
course.
but it doesn't work that way, does it?
No, ma'am.
Once you took these items, and I'm just referring for the record to these items E1 through E6. Once you collected those items, you took them back. Now, there was obviously other things that were done later, but where did your participation end? What did you do with these items? What was the next thing that you did with each of these items? And then when were you done with your part?
So the items were taken to my office. Covington was there as well to take further photographs, things that we can't photograph at the scene, which is like the knife, the t-shirt, I believe. I did additional processing on the knife. Once that's done, everything is packaged and labeled with a barcode. Once my report is done, those items are taken to our property room. They're placed in a locker, which is locked and held there until follow-up but decides what's going to be done as far as testing and having that sent over to the lab.
Okay. And are you the person who, if something, say, for example, in a case needed to be sent off to be tested for DNA or things like that, are you the person who does that, or is that not in your?
No, we sent those items over to the Bexar County Crime Lab.
Okay. Are you the person that notates when things are sent, or are you just there? Is your work just on the scene and then bringing stuff back?
Yeah, that'll be the detective.
Okay. I'll pass the witness. Thank you.
State.
Just briefly, Jen.
Right, Ms. Oliva. I'm gonna hand you what I'm now marking as State's Exhibit 31. What is State's Exhibit number 31?
It's a picture of the blade.
Is there anything in the photograph with the blade?
It's a scale, a ruler.
And just to be clear, the item that's being photographed there, is that the same as the item you collected at the scene and noted as E1 in your report?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of that item?
It is, yes.
Your Honor, at this time, state moves to admit State's Exhibit number 31.
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit 31 is admitted without objection.
May I publish as needed, Judge?
Yes.
Okay, I know we had some testimony on this, but can you tell me how long the blade is of that knife?
It's 3.5 inches.
What is that in centimeters? Would that be on the ruler in the photograph?
8.
8,
Yes.
roughly that.
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused?
From the state.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, you may be excused. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a short break because things need to be signed over for the court reporter. So I'm going to bring you all back in at 3:40. And remember my instructions, everything that you need to know about this case is to come from. All right, thank you, everyone. Please rise for the jury.
Yes. Judge, can we go ahead and get our witness up?
Sure, just put them here.
She was looking to see if her shoes. Yeah.
Well, we all know where my clothes are destroyed, so. Which way am I going? Right here? See.
And Judge, we only have 2 more here today.
So her and one more.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, no, no problem. All right, we are ready.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, state, call your next witness.
The state calls Megan Duffy.
Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Megan Duffy. It's MEIGAN
Right.
DUFFY.
Sorry, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Hello.
How are you?
Out of breath.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you for coming today. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Yes. Hi, my name is Megan Duffy. I'm a crime scene investigator with the San Antonio Police Department. I'm one of the civilians. I've been with San Antonio Police Department and the city now for 19 years. From 2005 to 2012, I was what they call a police communications specialist. It's a fancy way of saying you're a 911 operator. And then in 2012, I was accepted to the crime scene unit and I've been there ever since.
And what is your official title right
Crime scene investigator 3.
now? CSI for short?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if I call you CSI Duffy?
Absolutely.
Okay. So on October 3rd of 2021, were you a CSI with San Antonio Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall being called out to the scene at 1717 Leal?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that here in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that in Bear County?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you appear out to a scene, do you write a report?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you have written a report at 1717 Leal Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm gonna hand you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 32. Feel free to refresh your memory with it, but don't read directly from it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, CSI Duffy. What is State's Exhibit number 32?
It is my crime scene search report.
So as part of your duties as a CSI, what do you do?
So our job is to assess the crime scenes, to document through means of photography, videography, fingerprinting, collecting evidence. And then we also do like 3D diagramming depending on what kind of crime scene it is. And then once we collect that evidence, we have to preserve it and we submit it to the property room for it to be stored.
And do you do all of those jobs at every single crime scene you report to, or do CSI share duties at scenes?
CSIs do share duties at more complex or major scenes. Minor scenes like a burglary we can handle on our own.
Were you the only CSI present on October 3rd at 1717 Leal?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you recall about how many of you there were?
I believe there was 2 others.
And what tasks did you have at that crime scene that day?
I was tasked with creating the video recording of the scene.
Okay. And why do you video record a scene?
It's just another form of documentation visually for them to run through and they can see the whole scene that adds to the photos. It's a supplement to your photographs.
And are you the one that marked the items of evidence that would appear in a video of a crime scene?
No, ma'am, everything was marked by the time I arrived at the scene. They had already started processing the scene.
I'm going to hand you what I'm marking as State's Exhibit number 33. Do you recognize State's Exhibit number 33?
Yes, ma'am, this is the video that you had showed me when we went to pretrial that I created.
And that's from this case at 1717 Leal on October 3rd of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the scene as it appeared to you that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And had it appeared to be altered in any way?
No, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, State would offer State's Exhibit number 33.
Can we just approach briefly, Judge?
Yes.
Your crime scene videos have an audio portion to them, or are they just visual?
It's just visual, ma'am.
All right, and so State, you're offering State's Exhibit number 33?
We are, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection,
All
Joe.
right, State's Exhibit 33 is admitted without objection.
May I publish?
Yes.
Now, CSI Duffy, we have several different files on the disk. Why are we not looking at one continuous video?
Sometimes when you hit the pause button, so like in this instance, you have the cat like coming through the scene, so we're trying to get her out so she's not near the blood. I also have a hand trimmer, so I will stop the video so my hand can like calm down. It's just a natural thing I have from autoimmune disease. And if people are walking through the scene, we will stop it because as I'm processing the scene, there are other people in there working as well. So we want to step out and let them do what they have to do.
So every time the video camera is paused or stopped or interrupted, it creates a new file.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you survey the scene before you start recording, or is somebody directing you where to go?
When I first got there, CSI Oliva kind of quickly went through and then she walked me back through with the flashlight, kind of showing me where the evidence was. But they were processing when I first got there, as you can see right there. So I had to step out and then she just kind of pointed stuff out as we were going through the scene.
Did you do anything else at this crime scene aside from record the video?
No, ma'am.
Did you arrive at the crime scene? Do you know?
Can I look at my report real
Of
quick?
course.
1910 hours.
And do you know how long or about how long there had been police presence at the scene before you arrived?
No, ma'am, I don't.
That's the witness
I have no questions of this witness,
All right, is this witness excused?
from the state.
from the defense as well.
All right, thank you. All right. State, you may call your next witness.
State calls Officer Jason Owen.
All right, if you'll take a seat here, please. All right, if you can raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right, just make sure you keep your voice up for the jurors and the court reporter. If you could state your name for the record, please.
Officer Jason Owen.
All right, state.
Good afternoon, Officer Owen. How are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the San Antonio Police Department on their street crimes unit.
And what do you do as working in street crimes unit?
Our main task is to do area specific directed patrol, which means we run two to a vehicle. And we're also on a violent crimes task force where we look for violent warrants or felony warrants that we go and pick up.
So you typically not sent to a scene, correct? You're more kind of, or what would you describe your general duties day to day?
No, we're not typically sent to a scene unless it's an active crime scene where something violent actively happened and we're trying to find the suspects at the time. Usually we're called in after the fact once a warrant has been filed for a crime that's been committed already.
And are you familiar with a defendant by the name of Angel Gonzales?
Yes, ma'am.
And how are you familiar with that defendant?
A while back, we had a warrant that came across our desk or across our unit, and we went to pick out the suspect.
And were you able to find and make contact with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you have created a report when you found him?
Yes, ma'am.
Would looking at that report help refresh your memory and aid in your testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
May I approach your honor?
Yes.
It's been marked for identification purposes as states exhibit number 34. Can you take a look at this? And is this your report?
Yes, ma'am.
Feel free to look at it to refresh your memory. Just please don't read directly from it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. So you were sent to go pick up Angel Gonzales on the warrant, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, we would like to approach briefly.
Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, both the state and defense have told me this is going to be the last witness for today. So there is just something I need to take up outside of your presence. It should take no more than 10 minutes. All right. So remember my instructions. Everything that you need to know about this case is. All right. All right. Everyone, please rise for the jurors. So before we go back on the record, state, I understand the testimony you want to elicit from the witness. Defense, I understand your concerns. So this is what we'll do. State, if you will ask your questions and we will see if it leads somewhere that it should not lead to, and then we'll know.
Sounds like a plan, Judge.
So we're back on the record. And this is a hearing outside the presence of the jury. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
So on October 9th, 2021, were you advised of a warrant concerning this defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that warrant for?
It was for a murder warrant.
And what did you do in order to basically find him that day?
It was actually our detective that was assigned to our unit. He was able to locate where the suspect was at the time. From there, we formed a plan to apprehend him.
And when you got to the location, did you make contact with the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
What was this location, just in general?
I don't remember the exact location. I just remember it was an apartment complex.
And what happened when you made contact with the defendant?
When we initially made contact with the defendant, he took off running. He was on the second story of an apartment building. He jumped from the awning onto the ground and then started fleeing from the location from us.
Were you wearing anything identifying yourself as a police officer at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also verbally identify yourself as police?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
After he jumped off the balcony, what did you do?
I chased him through the parking lot and finally caught him in the parking lot on the back side of the apartment building.
How did you catch?
He slowed down and I was able to basically wrap up and we both went down to the ground.
Did you suffer any injuries when you went to the ground?
Yes, ma'am. It was a gravel parking lot, so I got scrapes on my arms and hands.
And at that point, was you taken into custody?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be the extent of our questions.
All right. And
So-
were there going to be some objections?
Oh, yes.
All right. Oh, you can remain seated. I'll hear your
Thank you, Judge.
objections.
So first of all, just generally, I think that any testimony elicited with regard to the evading arrest, I think it's separate in time. And I don't think that it is relevant. And I think it's more prejudicial than probative with regard to this case. Now, if we were here for a trial on evading, different story, but that's not what we're here for. And that should not be used as evidence in a murder case to prove anything when it's so removed in time. This is, I think, at least a week later. So evidence that he left the scene, we haven't objected to that because I think there's a valid reason and a valid argument the state can make for that. For this, no, it's absolutely more prejudicial than probative. The other thing is any testimony with regard to this officer's injuries.
Oh, well, let
Irrelevant.
me stop you there. The court was going to sustain any objections related to his injuries. All right.
And I mean, I think that if they want to say that he recognizes him, if he wants to identify him as the person that he arrested on the warrant, but as far as the circumstances, I don't think that I just think that it's such a tenuous connection to the events that occurred the week prior. There's all kinds of reasons people run from the cops. And I don't think that it's fair, especially given the incredible.
Well, this is what the court wants to know. And maybe I missed the answer to it, but I would like to know is whether or not this witness knocks on the door and says, we're here, we have a warrant for your arrest. Warrant for your arrest is for murder. And then did that result in your client allegedly running away?
We did not enlist that. We can always ask those questions. Your
So
Honor.
that's what I want to know. And then I will make a ruling.
Officer Owen, when you approached this apartment, how did the interaction, or how did you announce yourself? What did you guys do?
So when we went, the defendant was already outside the apartment. As we were coming up the stairway to the defendant, we announced ourselves as police. That's whenever he took off running.
And when you say outside the apartment, where outside? Like, could you visibly see him as you were approaching the apartment?
Yes, we saw him as he was walking up the stairs, and that's whenever we went to make our approach.
And then when you identified yourself, how did you identify yourselves? If you can recall.
I can't recall on that.
Did you call him by name at any point?
I did not.
Do you know if anyone else did?
I can't recall on that part.
So basically you guys saw him and you were already heading up there, correct?
Yes,
And then as you approached the apartment and in some way you guys were announced, he saw you and took off running.
yes, sir.
Well,
All right, well, stop. So is that the end of your questioning?
At any point, did anybody announce if they were here to serve a warrant, or did it not get that far?
I don't believe we were able to at that point.
All right, any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so this is what the witness is allowed to testify. The witness is allowed to testify that he went to this apartment or wherever it was to serve a warrant and that he was apprehended. Then there's to be no mention of a chase. And we can go off the record. And let me tell everybody my reasoning behind this. The accused, this witness has testified, nobody identified and said, we are here for a arrest warrant on a murder charge. It's allegedly, he sees the police and he takes off running. That's it. So you're allowed to testify that you had a warrant for the accused, if it is this accused person's arrest, and that you went to serve the warrant and you apprehended him. Defense, any objections to that?
No, Your Honor, that's fine.
And then if there's another witness who has more information, we'll take a hearing of outside the presence of the jury on that. Does everyone understand?
Yes, sir.
So do not go outside of my instructions, all right? All right, I appreciate that. All right, let's bring the jurors back in. And Anna's gonna let me know if we have another court reporter and another courtroom available. We always cut it close here, don't we? It's fluid. Oh, but So he did go out to the house and he said that he will take on a project to rebuild it. So I'm like. Yes. And so they were supposed to send an estimate to the insurance company on Monday. But you know, me going through items. All right, we're ready.
All rise for the jury.
Right, everyone, please be seated. All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. So on October 9th, 2021, were you advised of an active warrant concerning this defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that warrant for?
It was for a murder warrant.
And did you go to serve that warrant?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it here in San Antonio or somewhere else?
Yes.
Can you please point him out and identify an article of clothing he's wearing?
Great, sure.
Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
No questions.
All right, you may step down. Thank you.
Can he just be subject to recall if we do need him?
All right, just make sure you're available in case either side decides to recall you as a witness.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the last witness for the state for today. Based on my conversations with the state and with the defense counsel, and based upon what I've heard with the trial, it's expected that both sides will have rested and closed on Friday, and your deliberations will probably start on Monday. All right? So that you know where we are. So today, you're going to get a chance to avoid rush hour traffic. Believe me, if you're ever in the parking garage and you're trying to leave at 5, it's like a Christmas tree lit up. So remember my instructions. You're not allowed to discuss with yourselves internally or with each other anything about this case. You're not allowed to start deliberating. If you see anything or hear anything, ignore it. Everything. Oh, and no research. Everything that you need to know about this case is to come from. All right, thank you. You know, pretty soon you all going to be in unison with that. All right, so I will see you all here tomorrow. And tomorrow I have docket in the morning. And sir, you had a question?
No, 1 o'clock.
No. Tomorrow I have docket in the morning, but I'm going to try to let us start at 11. Is everybody okay to be here at 11? All right, so I have docket. I'll get you all in here at 11. That way we can move things along. All right. Any questions about anything? All right, so here's the thing though. Thursday, all the jurors are still here. So you're here at 11, parking lot may be a little full. So you may still, even though we're starting at 11, you may want to get here in the morning time, but you can bring your breakfast. Okay. All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors. All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, before tomorrow, is there anything that I need to hear or needs to be taken up? Any videos that I need to review beforehand? If you all can think of any? All right, if something comes up, then just make sure you're here at 9 tomorrow. And then, as you all agreed, don't forget to withdraw 7A and replace it with 7.
Zach already has them working on.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, they're done?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go on the record. State, are you requesting to withdraw 7A?
Yes, Your Honor. We would
And-
ask to withdraw 7A and submit 7.
Any objections to the withdrawal of 7A?
No objection.
Any objection to State's Exhibit number 7?
No objection.
All right, then State's Exhibit number 7 will be admitted and State's Exhibit 7A will be withdrawn. All right, so guys, we'll start back tomorrow at 11. And then Friday in this court, it's all day. So on Friday, we'll start at 9.
Could we have a few minutes to remain with our client
Yes.
after everybody leaves so we can?
Sure, just
Start
make
with him.
sure it's done a little bit before 5. And since we're starting at 11 tomorrow, if you want him here in the morning time, which he'll probably already be here, just let